Sean.
Mike?
What is this? A crossover episode? That feels so lame, but
it kind of does. But I mean, you're right. I really don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
I think that's the kind of thing where like it doesn't work until maybe we find some music to put at the end of it, and you hear it in motion.
I actually
need
to take some time and edit the fucking episodes we have. I think that'd make me feel better about it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Well, I mean, we're pre-recording all this on the Squid Game Island right now, on our at our studios on the Squid Game Island. So
yeah, we're on the Squid Game Islands. Hello, everybody. My name is Mike, and with me is my friend Sean.
Hi.
And we're Squid Boys and Ganbu and all those great things. And this is What Is This? A crossover episode, our BoJack Horseman podcast, where we talk about BoJack Horseman, my favorite show on Netflix. Sorry, Stranger Things, get fucked.
Yeah, it's not my favorite yet, but maybe one day.
Maybe one day. Today we are covering the episode Zoës and Zeldas.
Yeah.
Sean, what did you think of this fun little episode?
I liked this episode. Maybe not. Okay, so here's the thing. A context. I just finished Stranger Things 4, so this might have been kind of a weird headspace to go into a BoJack Horseman episode.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
back to back.
I get it.
It's kind of a strange experience.
Yeah. I haven't seen the rest of season 4 yet. I got 3 more episodes. So I have 6 hours of content.
Well, yeah, and even without like what happens in it, I watched like one of the episodes was an hour and a half, and the other one was 2.5 hours. So like I watched like 5 hours of Stranger Things before.
And then you
recorded.
go to 25-minute BoJack Horseman,
and that's like weird, you know. So, but I really enjoyed the episode. I did really enjoy the episode.
Good, I did too. This is one of my favorites of early on BoJack.
I don't know if it was one of my favorites.
Well, you've only seen 4 of them.
Okay, I was gonna say this might be my least favorite of the ones we've seen.
What? Okay, I think it's Stranger Things. I won't blame you for this. Anyway, this episode aired, Sean, on August 22nd, 2014, which, if we want to talk about what happened that day back in 2014.
I know you're going to do it, and it still makes me laugh.
Yeah, Kamala Harris, current vice president, was the California Attorney General at the time, and she married lawyer Douglas Ermhoff in Santa Barbara, California. Good for her. The number 1 song, Sean, was Rude by Magic. Decent song. Did you know they hate that song, Sean?
I think we've talked about that.
Yeah, I'm going to say it every time. And then also the second Ebola death in Nigeria, Africa's most populated country. That also happened on August 22nd, 2014. Whew. Okay. So Sean,
that's gonna be like a BoJack Horseman joke where they keep doing the joke over and over again, and at first you're like, "Huh?" and then like as it happens again and again, you're like, "That's funny."
Yeah, that's definitely my brand of humor. So like, it's definitely gonna come around again near the end of the season where we're gonna be laughing hysterically on it.
Yeah,
I hope you would
kind of a gamble. Us. You know, we gotta hope that it does pay off.
It's like Too Many Cooks, dude. There's one point in Too Many Cooks where I'm watching it and I'm like, I'm out on this, but then it comes back and it's funny again.
You're right. That's kind of how I felt about this episode.
Yeah, really? Okay. So
no, I'm over exaggerating.
Okay. This episode is one of my favorites because it has one of my favorite gags in BoJack Horseman.
Okay.
And I don't even think they ever revisit this gag, so I don't know why I'm saying it like it's this crazy big gag, but they do this thing where they take like proverbs that people say.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
And just fuck them up.
Yeah.
and I think it starts with Mr. Peanut Butter. He says, "Fool me once." What is it? Shame on me, fool me twice, fiddle-dee-dee.
Yeah.
But then later, there's the teacher man to fool me.
Oh, so there was one before Teacher Man to Fool Me.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Peanut Butter's talking to Wayne, and he goes, "Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, fiddle-dee-dee." Is that how that goes? And Wayne goes, "Yeah, that's right," because he thinks Mr. Peanut Butter's an idiot. But then the Von Cleese says, Fool me once,
Yes.
shame on me, but teach a man to fool me, and I'll be fooled for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I typed that one down because I was like, and then Todd goes, fool me once, fool me twice, fool me chicken soup with rice.
Yeah. So the teach a man to fool me thing, I say once a week at my job. Like, I literally do. I say that all the fucking time, and nobody knows what I'm talking about. And they're just like, oh, the fucking weirdo that works here saying weird shit again. And I just cackle to myself when I think of it. Because that's one of my favorite BoJack this episode. Because I don't think they ever revisit this deal again. I don't think they ever do the weird Proverbs thing. I don't know why I like it so much, but it kills me. Anyway, I jumped ahead just to talk about that because it's one of my favorite things.
I'm glad you did, because my thought on that joke was that I loved it. But I was like, I feel like, because I missed the first one, I was like, this kind of breaks the rule of threes. I feel like there should have been a third joke of like part of this bit. And now that
Mr. Peanut Butter did it first, yeah.
Okay, then it works.
So this episode, there's like a very slight B plot.
Yeah.
But the A plot is that BoJack is convinced by Diane that he's clipping Todd's wings to keep him there, and he should support him. So BoJack tries to help him with his rock opera, which is terrible. And then the slight B plot is Wayne, who is Diane's ex-boyfriend, works for BuzzFeed, and he's writing an article on Mr. Peanut Butter.
God. Yeah, it was such an incredible... Like Wayne is like if BuzzFeed was like a talking, walking person.
Yeah, well, it was a person. Absolutely, absolutely. But before we get into the A plot and B plot, they kind of introduce us. They're giving us a little BoJack lore here.
Yes.
And they show some of BoJack's first stand-up, and he can't get through it without trying to explain the joke to everybody.
Yeah, feel that.
The horses have long faces, and I'm a horse. You get it? You get the joke? And then he's hassled by this man who we later find out is Herb Kazaz, who... we're going to learn more about him in future episodes, but we learned last episode that he has cancer.
Oh, that was that guy. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
played by Stanley Tucci.
Played by Stanley Tucci?
Yes. I told you this last episode. You just forgot.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You were like, because we did the whole Tucci thing.
Oh, because Tucci Gang, Tucci Gang, Tucci Gang, Tucci Gang. That's that guy from the Hunger Games. Transformers: The Last Night, Beauty and the Beast, and Spotlight.
Yep.
Writer and director of Big Nights. Tucci Gang, Tucci Gang, Tucci Gang. I can't believe I know that.
Yeah, that's pretty strange that you know that well. You really are a member of the Tucci Gang. So something that's that I like about that flashback is, Herb comes up to him after hassling him, and the first thing BoJack says to him is, "Get cancer, jerkwad."
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. Oh my God.
Which he in fact has cancer.
Oh my God.
In the present day.
I just love the line he gives of, "I've been doing stand-up for a year now, so it's the responsibility of big shots like me." And I just...
Yes.
Also,
yeah.
BoJack
Were you confused by that flashback, not knowing who he was? Were you just like, why did they show us that?
No, it made sense because BoJack says, "Oh, I don't drink." And so I was like, okay, so we're going to follow this thread of like, I assumed Herb Kazaz ruined BoJack's life is kind of what I'm assuming. Like we have this BoJack who doesn't drink right now, seems kind of a bit more straight cut. And we're gonna, my assumption is we're gonna find out Herb Kazaz was like, yeah, fucking here's smoke this and drink that and like have a party, let's go. And
interesting. Okay.
That's at least like, I wrote down, oh, this is the origin.
Yeah, they're gonna slowly piece together BoJack and Herb for us as this season goes on.
So even not making that connection, I still felt that this flashback made sense.
Right. Okay. Good. And then he also uses kind of the thing Herb said to him, but reverses it with Todd. And he says it's the responsibility of little guys like you to look up for big guys like me. He says a wise man once said. And Todd goes, "Who said that?" And he says, "I don't know, Malcolm Jamal Warner."
Which I guess
he says,
like that also kind of falls into the fool me. The Proverbs.
Oh yeah, he reverses it around. Yeah, you're right. I didn't make that connection, but you're right. So we get introduced to the concept of Zoës and Zeldas, Sean. Because Mr. Peanut Butter had a similar show to Horsing Around called Mr. Peanut Butter's House. Yeah. But he had twin adopted daughters on there, Zoe and Zelda, and Zoe is the like the optimist, and Zelda's like the pessimist. In this, basically, is what it boils down to, right?
Yeah, and the show has a banger theme at the end where they just say, "Knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone."
Bro, okay, I was hoping you would love Mr. Peanut Butter's theme song, dude. Mr. Peanut Butter's theme song is my favorite. Who's that dog? Mr. Peanut Butter, knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone.
It's very
Dude,
good.
it's so good. It's on Spotify, I want you to know.
Is it really?
Yes,
I'll have to add
it's
that
on
to
Spotify,
my
and I've listened to
songs.
it way more than I'm willing to admit. Actually, the Vecna playlist thing, Sean?
Yeah. Tell me.
My song was Mr. Peanut Butter's House.
Was the number one?
No, it wasn't. That would be awesome, though.
Mine just changed.
Yeah, mine was a song I haven't listened to that much, so I didn't. But it did tell me, this is embarrassing, but it told me, it had another pop-up, and it said, you were in the top 5% of listeners of Running Up That Hill.
They told me I was in top 10.
So, like, when did they start shaming people on Spotify?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, you're going to tell me I'm in the top 10% of, like, a band or something? That's fine. You have listened to this song. You are a psychopath, is basically what they're trying to tell me.
Right.
You have listened to this song so much, you are a psychopath.
Mike, I'm pissed.
Why?
I just went to my upside down playlist. It changed.
That's not good.
Rise is still on it, but now it says that the number one is I Lived by One Republic.
Oh, your favorite song?
I know. I like that song. It's not my favorite. Why did it change? This is important. I know that we're doing like a podcast here, but this is like offensive.
I'm offended for you.
You should be. Everybody should. Everybody tweet at Spotify and ask them why this happened.
Yeah, I'm definitely keeping this in the podcast. So
Okay,
definitely
cool.
definitely tweet at
Yeah.
Spotify, you guys.
Yeah.
and do that.
And tag me and Mike and
Tag Sean.
another
tag me.
person. Tag
Don't
me
tag
and
me.
Mike and a third person of your choosing.
Of your choice. Yes. President Joe Biden. Anyway, so I don't really, I forgot, they're at a roast of somebody when they're talking about Zoe and Zelda.
Yeah, that kind of went over my head a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know who the person was.
And they made a joke
But-
about somebody like going
Lisa
down on the
Lampanelli.
entire
So-
football team or something.
I get that joke because Lisa Lampanelli is a comedian. She's a woman, and every roast back in like the 2000s, she would be there.
Okay.
And everybody would, like, every time whoever got up to roast whoever the guest was, they would also roast her and say something about whatever black man was in, the audience or as a guest that she wanted to fuck him. Like, that was the joke.
Okay.
And so the joke of this is whoever this person was, who I don't know, was like a feminist, I think.
Yeah.
And the joke is they said, oh, she'd go down on all the Houston Rockets, huh? And then the feminist is pissed because she's like, what the fuck?
Okay.
So I think that was the joke. And now that I'm BoJack explaining the joke to everybody, do you guys get it? Do you guys get the joke?
It's all
She's a
full
feminist,
circle,
and she's
baby.
saying having sex with the whole team. Do you get the joke?
It's all
Anyway.
full circle.
They're talking about BuzzFeed because Wayne works for BuzzFeed, and Mr. Peanut Butter goes, BuzzFeed, what will they think of next? And I just think that's so fucking funny. I just love how dumb Mr. Peanut Butter is. He's like, he has a scene later in the episode that kills me every time I watch it, but we'll get to that. And then, like you said, I wrote down his theme song in all caps because
Yeah.
it is one of my favorite things.
And so they're talking about the Zoe or Zelda. So I figured this had to be asked because like we're a podcast that covers a TV show. And when something like this happens, like you have to talk about it. Like, what are you, Mike? Are you a Zoe or a Zelda?
So I think, okay, I don't want to use BoJack's quote, but I think I'm above this. But what I will say,
you shouldn't be like agreeing with Bo. Like,
this is the only time I'm going to agree with BoJack. Except maybe
Especially
later
this week.
about Todd's rock opera. I may agree with some things he said there. But I would say I think I'm a little bit of both. Well, I guess not a little bit of both, but like it depends on the situation. So like I think when I'm being myself, when I'm being my truest self, I'm a Zelda. I'm a bit of a pessimist.
mm-hmm.
Right? But a few years ago, I was, this is going to get real. I was struggling mentally with some things, and I made a conscious choice to go, I'm going to try to be more optimistic about things.
Okay.
And so, like, I push myself to do that, especially when I'm, like, at work or I'm in a public situation. And so I think I've kind of turned myself into a bit of a Zoe, better for my mental health, honestly. Because I'm not constantly just bitching about things or being upset about things. So I'd say I'm a little bit of both. But I think if I was being myself at my most self-destructive, I'm absolutely a Zelda.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to say initially, like, I was thinking a bit more Zoe, but, like, I've seen some pessimism in you about certain things.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure.
And I'm definitely a Zelda.
Yeah, you were definitely a Zelda. But at the same time, I've seen you be pretty optimistic about some things. So it's like, it's kind of a stupid argument.
Yeah.
I read it was actually based on an article that, I can't think of the creator's name. Hold on. It's in the trivia of IMDb. The Zoe vs. Zelda reference is based on a blog post creator Raphael Bob Waxberg wrote about Tia and Tamara Mowry from the TV show Sister Sister.
Wait.
So it's like his thing that he came up with about you're either a Tia or a Tamara.
Okay.
And then he wrote it into the show.
Tia and Tamara, known for starring in the Disney Channel original movie Twitches and its sequel Twitches 2.
I think they're a little more known for Sister Sister, but sure.
Sure. But
maybe with my generation, maybe your generation, it's Twitches.
Okay, Twitches is an awesome movie. That movie's really good. And Twitches 2? Oh my god.
I've never seen.
Okay, well, you should rectify that. I'm sure it's on
maybe
Disney
that's our
Plus.
Maybe that's our next podcast, Sean. Twitches. Well, man, we'll just do anything, won't we? We get through the Zoe Zelda stuff, and then Todd brings up that he's a loser. He goes, I'm never gonna write my rock opera, and they're like, you have a rock opera? So we transport to Bojack's house where he's performing it for them.
I will say, when he's doing that I'm a loser bit, he has one of my favorite quotes.
Okay.
Where he says, he's right, I'm pretty much worthless. And then Bojack goes, see, you say something to somebody enough times and eventually he internalizes it. The system works.
Yep. Yep. And we get to there and he plays the rock opera and it's bad. You know, what we hear of it is bad. And
he says the title, right?
Oh shit.
I have it.
Oh, okay, you have it?
I have it. I wrote it down. Newtopia Rising, Book 1, The Search for a New Utopia.
That's right. Okay.
Really good because later the title gets even worse.
Yes. Yeah, when on the marquee, it's pretty bad. But Bojack's feedback, and this was the joke I told you last time that I think you're gonna love.
Yeah.
Is that was, and I don't say this lightly, worse than 100 September 11th.
I think it's made better by him saying September 11th and not 9/11.
Yes.
Something about saying September instead of 9 makes it even funnier.
It's full name, you know?
It's full legal name.
Yeah, you're using September 11th's legal name.
It's government name, if you will.
He also later, and I'm just going to mention this now because it's in the same vein and probably a thing that will offend people in certain ways. But he says to him, he gives him a note that says, imagine if the Holocaust happened every 4 years like the Olympics. I would rather have that than your rock opera be made.
Oh my God. Oh.
It's such a fucking terrible, like, we're here to shock you with this humor, but it kills me, man.
Yeah,
like that shit just like fucking kills me.
No, it did.
It's not funny, but it is. You know what I mean? Like it's just one of those things.
It's like, why the fuck would you say that? Kind of like,
right,
it's like, what? It's like, how do you even come up with that? How do you come up with that as a like the writers of the show are insane. Because
absolutely.
How do you even come up with the concept of the Holocaust happening every 4 years like the Olympics?
Right. The writers of this episode are Raphael Bob Waxberg, who created the show, and Peter Knight.
Okay.
And Peter Knight is known for He's known for BoJack Horseman,
Okay.
but also Big Wolf on Campus.
Okay, hang on. Hold on. 7 seasons?
Of Big Wolf on Campus?
It had 7 seasons. No. It had 3 seasons.
It looks like it had 3 seasons.
Yeah, why does, when I Google it, it says 7 seasons? That's not
I don't
right.
know.
But still, 3 seasons is a lot for a show called Big Wolf on Campus.
I'm trying
Wait,
to see
is
if there's
this
anybody.
Teen Wolf?
It looks like it's Teen Wolf before Teen Wolf.
It's Canadian Teen Wolf.
So yeah, he was known for Big Wolf on Campus.
Well, I mean, it wasn't Teen Wolf before Teen Wolf because Teen Wolf is originally a movie.
It was the TV show of Teen Wolf before the TV show of Teen Wolf.
Exact. Well,
Yeah. Or wait, was there a Teen Wolf TV show back in the day?
there was an animated TV show in '86.
Oh, okay. That doesn't
It was
count.
the live-action TV show of Teen Wolf before the live-action TV show of Teen Wolf.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, so that's who wrote your 9/11 joke, maybe, possibly.
Yeah, and the Holocaust one.
And the Holocaust one. Anyway, there's like a montage, kind of BoJack helping Todd. And it keeps getting cut with these sex scenes.
Okay. Well, before that, that is triggered because he's talking to Diane, and Diane is
you're
like
right.
being like, you know, real with him, and he's like, "Nuh-uh." But the only reason I want to bring that up is because there's a great visual gag where he is playing pool while talking to her, and he hits like the white ball. And it doesn't
cue ball,
hit
yeah.
the cue ball. Thank you. I don't play pool, and it doesn't hit anything.
And then he looks so sad.
And then he goes up to it and he just pushes all the balls into one of the hole.
Yeah. So I actually wanted to bring this up for a different visual thing, not a gag necessarily. Diane asks him, "Hey, wasn't there somebody that helped you when you were coming up?" And it zooms up on BoJack's face, and to the right is the framed picture of him and Herb on the wall. And he goes, "No." And they did that, they did that on purpose. And I thought I didn't notice that. I've seen this episode a few times, but I never noticed that until today. And I was like, interesting.
That's really good.
I noticed the pool gag today too for the first time, and I was like, oh man, that's because when he misses, he looks so fucking sad. Like his body language, he kneels down. It's very funny.
But you were talking about the sex stuff, which I thought was very funny too.
Yeah, he has sex with Princess Carolyn, and she's like, "You're not even inside me." And he goes, "Did you get there?"
But the best one is when she's not even in the bed.
Yeah, she's not even in the bed, and he's like, "Did you get there?" And Todd will come in with like an idea. BoJack starts to get into the idea, which is nice because it shows like that him and he's actually helping Todd, and. So it's a bit montagey because nothing like super important happens other than they're like talking nonsense about the space opera, right?
Is that what I sound like?
What do you mean?
When he like comes in and he like starts like saying shit and it just doesn't make any fucking sense about this story thing? No, I don't sound like that ever.
No, you don't. You're not a Todd, dude.
That's crazy. I think I am.
You think you're Todd?
I think I'm a Todd. Not a. All right. New bit. The Zoe or Zelda thing. Who are we from BoJack Horseman? I think I'm a Todd.
Okay. Well, then what am I?
I don't know.
Am I Wayne? I might be Wayne. Oh God, I'm Wayne. This is the worst thing I've ever thought of. No.
Would you like to expand on that line of thought?
No, I don't want to.
Okay.
So they go to lunch, and there's the bit where he goes, when he first tells Todd he's gonna help him, he goes, "Wait, is this gonna be like the time you said we were gonna go ice skating, and then instead of going ice skating, you went to the strip club and took the strippers ice skating?" And he's like, "No," and he goes, "Hooray!" And then later he goes,
I'm pretty sure it was. Is this the time where you said we were going to go eat lunch, and then you went to the strip club?
The ice skating one is first because he
I
says
missed that one too. Stranger Things really fucked me up, dude.
Yeah, it did, dude. So then later when he says they're going to lunch, he goes, "Is this like the time we were going to go to lunch, but instead you went to the strip club and said you were eating strippers for lunch?" And he goes, "No," and he goes, "Hooray!" And they go to lunch, and I'm gonna try. I think this might be your favorite animal bit. When the guy's sitting at the counter. And the cow waitress comes up and goes, "Here's your steak," and slaps it down in front of him.
Oh my God, that's not my favorite
And the
one.
guy goes, sorry, like that. That's not your
That's
favorite one?
really good
Man.
because I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
A little bit earlier, I'm going to jump back because I have a note. Sorry. When they're doing that whole thing where like BoJack is helping him workshop it, I thought there was a really funny bit where they say like, he's like, you know what this needs? Or they're like, no, that plot point doesn't make any sense unless, and then they both say like a paragraph worth of story changes.
Yeah, just nonsense. Yeah.
But like they say the exact same thing at the exact same time as if they've just had this paragraph of idea, but they've both had it, which is like, I thought that was very funny.
Yeah, very funny bit. I agree.
Because
I
guess
just couldn't remember everything they said, so I was like,
I didn't even try to. But I've been in that scenario where I've been working on story stuff with friends, and like we're like, you know what this needs, and then we both say like two completely different things, and we're like, what the fuck are you thinking? So I thought that was funny compared to like how it really is.
They're having lunch, and he talks about how he has this addiction to a video game, Decapitator. And BoJack's like, I know that game. I was up for the role of Dr. Decapitator, and they said they wanted someone hipper, so they picked Robert Downey. And he goes, Junior? He goes, if it was Junior, I would have said Junior. And that bit just got me. It's like, yeah, they wanted someone hipper, and you lost out to Robert Downey Sr. Okay. I know we're not recapping per se, but there's I think Todd, that's right, Todd gets... is it Vincent Van Cleese? What? I don't remember his first name. He's a moose.
Yeah, he got the Vincent Van Cleef, Virgil Van Cleef.
Virgil Van Cleef. And he's a moose, and he sounds like that, you know. He's like, oh yes.
But I believe before that, or maybe he says that he got him, and then there's a different scene. But there's a scene where BoJack gets a phone call from the birds from last episode who have the pictures.
Oh yeah, that's at lunch. That's at lunch.
Yeah,
and he kind of just blows them off.
But he's like, I'm very happy with my current long distance provider.
Well, the bit with that too is he goes, maybe I need to start listening, Todd. And then Todd starts talking, and he gets the phone call. He goes, hold on 1 second, Todd. You know, like he's not listening. And then he turns it around and says, I'm having lunch with my friend.
Yeah.
It's like, aw.
And then before Van Cleef shows up, there's another scene where they're talking at like Mr. Peanut Butter's house, I think. And they're like, Wayne is doing the BuzzFeed cover story for me. And BoJack is like, BuzzFeed doesn't have a cover. Like,
no, they're at BoJack's house when they do that because they're getting ready for.
House? Okay.
Because Tom's gonna Tom. Who the fuck is Tom? Todd's gonna perform for everybody and Von Cleese.
Okay.
And so BoJack's like prepping him, like, hey, make sure you clap at the jokes that are jokes, but don't laugh at the things that you think are jokes that aren't jokes.
Yeah.
But they have this exchange with the BuzzFeed cover story where Mr. Peanut Butter says tomato, tomato.
Which I think you've referenced before. I think I've heard you say that.
And he goes, it's tomato, tomato. He goes, you say tomato, tomato. Or I say tomato, tomato. You say tomato, tomato. It's so fucking stupid, but it's like peak Mr. Peanut Butter.
I wrote that down because as he was saying it, I was like, I swear to God, I've heard Mike say this before.
But yeah, no, I've definitely said that before. So Todd performs. They says it needs a third act showstopper, but otherwise it's spellbinding.
When he comes out, first of all, I love his big entrance. He's coming out of the living room closet. Like,
yes.
He's just standing in the living room closet for some reason. And,
the whole time.
And BoJack is like, he told me in confidence that he never graduated. He says he never graduated high school, which he told me in confidence.
And he comes out, he does his thing. They start talking about how successful it's going to be, and that's when BoJack starts to get nervous because Todd says, hey, I'm going to be able to move out.
And that's when I wrote, is he going to sabotage this?
So they go to the theater, and
that's when we have the better marquee joke, or the better name joke, where it's Virgil Van Cleef presents BoJack Horseman presents an Utopia Rising, Book 1, The Search for a New Utopia, a Todd joint, but the I is a 1.
Oh, really? I didn't notice the eye was a 1.
The eye is a 1.
They ran out of eyes.
Yeah.
What a marquee. And they show people working on the set, and my favorite animal gag is the beaver, because there's a woman, they have a sawhorse, and they have fucking planks on there, and she pushes the beaver's face down to cut the plank in half and then pulls it back up.
That's good.
It's a stupid animal bit, but I love it.
So my favorite happens in this scene. I think it's this scene. It might be the scene after, to be honest. No, it's during this scene, because my next note also is during this scene. My favorite bit, animal bit, is in this scene where they're like, where Bojack is kind of saying this might be too much for Todd, and he's like, I know I've seen what happens when a baby bird gets pushed out of the nest too early.
The Family Guy joke. Yeah, the Family Guy joke.
Cuts away to him like standing at the window with like a mother bird looking out, like as if like the baby's dead. Like that's my favorite animal-based joke. It's really fucking dark, but that's kind of why I really like it.
It's not your fault. Yeah,
but it's
that one's good.
It's such a good cutaway, I think.
It is. Like, call it a Family Guy joke because that's literally all they do, right?
Yes.
But a good cutaway can be good, you know, and then that one is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
Bojack effectively, I mean, we don't know while it's happening, but he effectively sabotages Todd here.
Oh,
and they don't tell you that right at first, but they kind of, in a montage later, they kind of show it. But basically, Decapathon 7 is in the 10-cent bargain bin, and character actress Margot Martindale alerts Todd to it by saying, hey, can you hand me this thing? And Todd's like, wait a minute, this is only 10 cents. He ends up playing Decapathon 7 all night. And then the bit is that it's a puzzle game. Like it shows like it's someone holding a severed head with a sword on the cover, and then it's like the simplest of fucking like Tetris-y puzzle games.
So,
but he plays all night and ruins his chance of coming up with the third act showstopper that he so desperately needs.
And I will warn you, Mike, this is a very accurate depiction of what's going to happen with this podcast whenever the next Mistborn or Stormlight book comes out. You're going to be like,
you're just
Sean,
going to abandon.
You're like, are you ready to record? And I'm like, I'm on page 700. Hang on.
Well, what's going to be funny, Sean, is you're going to try to record the podcast still, and I'm going to sabotage you by putting the book in a 10-cent bin.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know, dude. I know. It's nutty. So stupid. So,
it's pretty nutty, Professor, dude.
God damn it. I hate that you said that. It's pretty nutty, Professor. So Todd is in no shape to perform, and Bojack kind of stands up for him because that's what makes Bojack feel good about it, right?
Yeah, and Virgil Van Cleef calls it a schlock flopra.
Yeah. No, it's the it's the
other
random
guy.
critic, the random human
right.
critic that's there that says that. Then they do the reveal, and when they do the reveal, it's when Wayne is talking to Diane, and basically she finds out that he's not really been writing stuff about the article. He's just been typing gibberish because he wants Diane back. Yeah, like he's still writing the article, and it's called 9 Jokes from the 90s that we're still laughing at, but he didn't need to do that much research into Mr. Peanut Butter. He was just trying to win Diane back.
Yeah,
and he gives this speech. And I have it right here.
Ooh, okay.
And it's cut with showing the steps Bojack took to sabotage Todd, right? Mm-hmm. So I think it's actually, and this is the thing that Bojack is going to start to do to you, Sean, where you're going to have this funny episode with this funny premise, and then at the end it's going to stab you.
So this was funny because I definitely saw this coming, but I was actually thinking as it was happening, I was like, before it happened, I was like, this is the only thing that could really make this episode work for me.
Is if you find out Bojack sabotaged him?
Yeah. And I was like, that needs to happen for this to work for me. And also just like, as we've been talking about it, looking back, I'm like, as objective as I can be about it, I feel like this is probably one of the better episodes we've watched. I just got really fucked over by Stranger Things.
Right.
But yes, this reveal is, it's so good.
So here's the quote. Wayne says, you know what your problem is? You're trying to be a Zelda, but you're so obviously a Zoe. You can live your happy Zelda life in this happy Zelda town and pretend you're a happy Zelda, but I know you, and this isn't you. People don't change, Diane. Not really. Mr. Peanut Butter's a Zelda. He's happy, and he's carefree, and he's loving, but you and me, we're Zoes. We're Zoes, Diane. We're cynical, and we're sad, and we're mean. There's a darkness inside you, and you can bury it deep in burritos as big as your head. But someday soon, that darkness is going to come out. And when it does, I want you to call me. and he walks away, and then it pans out, and Mr. Peanut Butter has been sitting there the whole time. And he goes, I like that guy. So stupid.
It's so good.
Oh, but no, that speech is, I mean, Wayne, this is not spoilers to say, but Wayne is not an important character to BoJack Horseman, the show, right? He might show up again later. I don't remember. But this is probably the most powerful. Nah, there was one earlier that was a little better, but it's a good speech, right? And the way they shoot it with, not shoot it because it's the animation, but the way they cut it with the different things that BoJack did,
perfectly.
where he's paying off the convenience store guy and he's returning the game to Beast Buy, and he doesn't have the receipt, and he's character actress Margot Martin goes, I don't feel good about what we did here, BoJack, and he goes, this never happened, and then we get the reveal at the end that the receipt is under the couch where Todd sleeps every night.
Man, they're really seeding stuff in this show, and I was not expecting that when you were like, let's do this podcast. Like, we've got the bird thing that's happening, right?
Yep.
Presumably, we got a little caught up on that a little bit. Now we got this receipt here. We have this backstory with Herb Kazaz.
Yep.
Who is now, we also know has cancer. Like, there's a lot of ongoing storylines.
Yeah. It is not just your typical adult animated cartoon show that is completely serial, and it's like, or not serial, the other one. The other one.
Procedural, right? Procedural?
No, I don't remember the word I want. But anyway, it connects. It's not just
Standalone?
It's not just a different story every week that has nothing to do with each other than the characters.
Yeah.
They connect this stuff, and it gets more and more deep. And to the point where we're going to get to a certain episode and you're going to go, oh shit, we're finally going to find out about this. Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like they're going to give you some stuff that you go, ooh, okay. All right. Let's see what this episode's about. Right. And it's not just all like filler or like I don't think like Family Guy or, it has story arcs. You know what I mean? This show has story arcs. This show has, it gives you connective tissue, so to speak, between each episode. So, yeah, I'm excited, man. We're really starting to get into the good stuff now. 4 episodes in. This is where, there's 12 episodes in this season?
Yeah, right? We're a third of the way through this first season here on the Squid Game Island.
Yeah.
I kind of expected it to get a little bit more like story focused eventually, because I was like, Mike wouldn't want to do this podcast unless there was something there. But the way you talked about it, like, I had expected us to maybe get through like a whole season before anything really started to happen. But I feel like it's already pretty connected.
Yeah, it picks up, and we're gonna get to some real shit pretty soon. So yeah, no, it's exciting. Did we cover? I think we covered everything, right?
Yeah,
I mean, my quote's probably my favorite quote's probably the Wayne quote. I just think it's a very good, powerful kind of deal. Did you have the favorite quote?
Mine was so you say something to somebody enough times and eventually he internalizes it. The system works.
Okay, yeah, good deal.
I love when this show pokes like talks about like a very serious issue, but like in a kind of funny way. Because
it's like he's oblivious to his toxic behavior.
Yeah,
and makes a joke about it, but it's pointing it out that like. It's the kind of thing like we've talked about numerous times before, where it's like the Joker stuff and the Deadpool stuff, where people idolize like anti-heroes that are bad people, but BoJack the show does a good job of going, hey, look at this like really shitty thing he's doing, but we're gonna play it for a laugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's still making it front and center, like, hey, this is not normal behavior, but it stops it from getting too dark and too dire because they poke fun at it. So
that's like my favorite kind of humor really is like I'm a really big fan of like John Oliver, and I really liked Jon Stewart on The Daily Show, and a lot of that humor was kind of like take something really fucked up and make a joke about it, but in a way that is going to make people pay attention and now kind of think about like, that's actually true. That is a thing that like that happens a lot and is really messed up. And I think that's kind of in that same vein.
It's one of the reasons I love it.
I'm trying to see. I might have like one more note I had looked at.
Yeah, do you have any other notes?
I think the one other note that we didn't talk about was, I don't know if it's going to come back, but Princess
Carolyn.
Princess Carolyn is now Todd's like agent.
Yes.
And she was like, "Can I get your autograph and the last 4 numbers of your social to get
And
him
he's
to
just
sign
like, "Yeah,
the
sure."
contract?" And I thought that was funny.
So yeah. We'll see. I don't want to spoil anything in that regard. We'll
All
see.
right.
We'll see. And something that the show does really well, and I don't know that it happens in this particular instance, so don't. Yeah, I'm not revealing anything to you, but they do like a throwaway joke like that,
Mm-hmm.
and then like 10 episodes later, it comes back, and you're like, oh shit, they didn't forget about this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They do a lot of good stuff like that. And I'm not saying that's what happens here, but it made me think of that because they do a lot of like even something silly is like, oh, hey, it's that character from this episode, and they're just in the background. You know, like just stuff like that. It's really good at that. So anyway, Sean, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me with you.
What do we say at the end?
All right, let me open my audio file again.
No, we don't
on.
say anything, do we?
I gotta
You were
see it.
supposed to sing back in the 90s.
Okay, but I don't think we did that last time.
But we didn't do that last time because I came up with something better, I thought.
I think you did.
All right, Sean, thank you for joining me, dude. It's always a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure to record this with you on the Squid Game Island. I'm not going to let that
Squid
bit
Game
go.
Island.
I think it's really funny.
Next episode is called Live Fast, Die and Win.
Ooh,
Just a little preview for everybody, you know?
exciting.
Yeah. Anyway, Sean, why don't you tell people where they can find you?
You guys can follow me on Twitter at Sean_AFK. Everything that I do is on there in that, everything I retweet it.
And I'm on Twitter at SpikeGhetti Bros. And yeah, I got other podcasts and stuff. Go check them out. YouTube.com/Super SpikeGhetti Bros. Twitch.tv/Super SpikeGhetti Bros. And yeah, I do all kinds of things. So come check us out. Anyway, we'll see you guys next time. Yeah. Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye, guys.
Suck a dick, dumb shits. John, do you want to say it once? I feel like you should say it.
Yeah, okay. Hang on, let's
you just throw it out there.
Suck a dick, dumb shit.
Thank you.